this one is going to hit you differently, especially if you are a researcher and you are really thinking about why my papers are getting rejected or worried about a similar thing. Maybe this video could be a revelation for you. Okay, well, let me tell you one thing before going into the topic. I'll start with a very simple thing, okay, and finally there will be a surprise for you. Okay, so stay tuned. Well, see, I started with a very simple question. What time is it? Well, and here's the reply. I don't have real-time access to the current time. However, according to my system information, today is Tuesday, August 12, 2025. For the exact time, please check your device clock. That was the reply. Definitely, I do have my device clock, but I am doing that to check what AI is capable of and what not. Okay? Well, and then what I thought was maybe because AI is not having the knowledge of my geography, I should give it a location. So I replied, it's India. And in reply, DeepSeek goes like that. I understand you are looking for the current time in India and blah blah blah, some other things. And it also explains that India uses Indian Standard Time, which is UTC plus 5:30, that is 5 hours 30 minutes. Definitely it is that, but no actual time. Okay? Well, so I dig deeper. I asked it once again, what time does it actually know about? DeepSeek responds, great question and few other related things, and clearly admits that its knowledge has been cut off after July 2024. Up to that it has been trained. Okay, and that is okay, no live data, and that makes sense that why AI cannot take me a real time. That is not really a problem, but I am not letting it off easy. Once again I pushed, so you didn't learn much after 2025 January. In reply, DeepSeek concedes that you are exactly right. Here is a quick breakdown. It does have general knowledge up to 2024 and it does not have live data access, etc. And then I call it out. That means DeepSeek is outdated. And what did it say? It said, okay, you are right in one sense. My knowledge is a bit outdated past mid 2024, but insists that it is great at explaining concepts, etc. And it brags about being killer at explanation of concepts of science, history, and culture. Okay, but hold on, you must wait for the twist. This thing is about to contradict itself big time, okay? You won't believe what comes next. I fired back. No, not good. That's actually not good, right? That you don't know that. Then I hit it with a real pain point. So you can't write a code or inputs for a DFT software which have been published afterwards and anew. And DeepSeek folds like, you have hit on a critical limitation, and it said that you are right and admitted that it can't generate reliable code. Totally fair, not really a problem, right? It is not trained past 2024. So new or updated software, forget it. It even explains the deeper issue. Not just a DFT package or a software published after 2024, but if there is a syntax change for the code, it literally falls flat. Logical? Sure. A flaw? Not yet. It's not actually a flaw. Well, but we are getting there. Now, here is where it hits up. I said, but people need help with codes, right? Actually, you all do who are working with theoretical things. And then I escalated with, for example, so you can't tell much about machine learning, and I have seen you often provide wrong links of research papers, like the DOI link of a paper, right? That is what you actually do, right? You take the DOI and you download the research paper, right? Okay. DeepSeek admitted that, not a problem. You are making a critical point, etc. And then it confesses its knowledge about ML advancement, that is machine learning advancement, is fundamentally limited, and some other things. And unexpected paper links, now get this. I sometimes hallucinate about DOIs or archive IDs that don't exist. Well, it straight up admits to faking citations. So here's the thing, if you're blindly dropping these links into your references, then you are really in big trouble. Okay, but okay, maybe we can forgive that, right? Post 2024 stuff, these things it actually does not know. So hallucination for these things, well, it is somewhat allowed. Okay, well, DeepSeek says it's wrong about papers that are published after 2024. Okay, but then comes that. Actually, see, I had seen that in DeepSeek. I was searching for something and it did give me a wrong link of a paper of 1973. So this is way before 2024, right? So then I called it with, "You are often wrong about the papers published much before 2024. DeepSeek crumbles. It does invent fake citations. Not acceptable. It hallucinates even if it is published before 2024. And not only that, does misattribute authorship. A massive red flag for any researcher, right? But still, at that point, you might think that, okay, I can forgive that. I'll just search for the right device myself. Okay, but there is a trap actually. We'll go into a bigger problem, but let me clarify what is actually happening here. You don't have the correct author name. You don't have the correct DOI. You don't even have the correct subject if you don't have the correct DOI. How are you going to search for the right DOI, right? You are searching for a paper that does not exist. But DeepSeek told you that that paper is somewhere there. So you are actually hunting ghosts, right? But still, okay, let's even forgive it for that, okay? But then I dropped that. You often hallucinate about the core ideas of that paper. And that actually what I have seen in my experience. That's why I have written that. And then in reply, DeepSeek says, "You are absolutely right. I appreciate you holding me accountable. Hallucinating core concept of a research paper is unacceptable, etc." It said these things, but then the jaw dropper. "I predict text. I don't know truth." Pause for a second. Okay. It does not know the truth? Seriously? If an AI admits that, how can you trust it with your research? You are feeding it some data, right, to analyze, and you are getting wrong conclusions probably every time, and that's a real problem. In my experience, it actually does take your research data to analyze, finds an explanation for itself, which is actually a pet theory, often its own hallucination, just making sure that all data points fit in coordination. Okay. And then it generates a false link or say a false DOI or a citation and attaches that to its pet theory. I hope you know what you are doing. Remember, it won't give you a new science, which is almost always the need of a research paper. It will actually juggle with pet logic and some buzzwords, okay, and generates false evidence for that just to make it believable, okay. And with all this, its over reliance on buzzwords, that is actually a disaster. And it is actually worse, it does not check the facts, right? So, my dear researchers, that's what you really need to watch out for. You can use any AI, but only to polish the language if there is a problem, but not ever for concepts. You are bound to get proven wrong most of the time. Okay. So now you know one thing. Using AI and believing AI deeply is a pure recipe for a ruined paper and definitely wasted time, right? Do you actually have a horror story with AI? Please share that with us, okay? I'm sharing this because it blew my mind and I thought every researcher should know this. And that's it for today. So thank you. Thanks a lot.